Aloha, it's Chef Keoni, and today I'm going to show you how to make easy chicken nishime. If you're not familiar with this dish, nishime is a traditional one-pot Japanese vegetable stew prepared with chicken or pork in a shoyu-dashi broth. It's something you would find at an okazuya, and it's just a super tasty local favorite. To get started, I have 4 boneless chicken thighs, which I'm slicing into 1-inch pieces. One thing you want to just take a look at, if there's extra fat or extra trim pieces, clean it up a little bit, and then we're just going to cut them into about 1-inch pieces. So I look at the piece here, and I'll try to just estimate where I want to be at. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're thinking about kind of like easy bite-sized pieces, and they're going to shrink a little bit as they cook. So you don't want to cut them too small, but you don't want them to cut them too big, or else they'll get hard to work with. But this is like a nice piece right here. Now, you can use skinless, boneless thighs as well. The difference is gonna be that one, the skin on gives a little bit more flavor and luxurious quality, and then the skin off is gonna be a little bit leaner. So they're both delicious, and you can go either way you want. Next, in a large pan, we'll heat 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil over medium-high heat. I took the chicken that I cut and I put it on paper towels. If your meat's all wet and you put it in, you get all that splatter. It's all the water hitting the oil, evaporating, and causing splatter. So if you dry out the product, then you don't have as much splatter. Now you want to put this in a single layer, and you don't want to overcrowd the pan, because if you overcrowd the pan, then you don't get color, okay? And we want color because color is flavor. The other thing that I'm not doing, as you can see, is moving the product around. You want to let the product do its thing and let it cook. You're trying to let it sit on the pan so it can brown. If I keep moving it, it doesn't really allow the meat to brown. Then we'll flip the chicken and cook it for another 3 to 5 minutes to brown it on that side. And you see the color? This is the color we're looking for. All of that color is gonna give us great flavor. It's gonna help us build that savoriness, is what's gonna make really, really a delicious nishime. Okay, so same thing. I flip the pieces over. I'm gonna let the pan and the heat do the work. Because I'm using the skin pieces, some of that fat is rendering out with the skin, and I also added vegetable oil in the beginning. So I wanna take some of that out, just so that I don't have all this excess fat. See this excess fat I'm taking out. We still have fat on the skin that's gonna add to that luxurious, kind of like nice eating quality, but all this excess we don't need. What I wanted to point out too is all these little brown pieces that are this little stuff in the bottom here, all that kind of golden happiness, that's called the fond. And you want to make sure that that stays in the dish, because that's flavor. And what we're going to do is when I add the liquids, it's going to deglaze the pan, will loosen up, and again start to continue to build flavor that we're doing here, okay? So next we'll pour in 2 cups of dashi, a half a cup of shoyu, 1/2 cup of mirin, which is a sweet Japanese rice wine, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and a 1/4 cup of sake, and we'll give this a nice stir. Next, we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we'll reduce it down to a nice simmer. Continue to cook it for about 15 minutes, and then skim the surface to get all the impurities off. I don't want to get a ton of the broth, just want to get that foamy white stuff off. As it's doing this, if you continue to keep getting all of that stuff off, it just gives you a cleaner, clearer broth when you're finished with your nishime. Before I start bringing the rest of the ingredients together, I want to mention, you can find ingredients to make this dish at your local Foodland store. And if you're looking for more local style recipes, visit us at foodland.com. Next, we'll add a bag of frozen Wafu Yasai mix, which is Japanese mixed vegetables. You can find this in the freezer section of any of our Foodland stores. It's really convenient, and it has all the vegetables you need for nishime. So it's got taro, it's got lotus root, it's got carrots, it's got gobo or burdock root, and it's got shiitake mushrooms, and this just really makes it fast and quick. So we'll put this in, then we'll add in the Nishime kombu, which is a kelp. This adds a nice umami flavor to the dish. It does come in dried, so I rehydrated it in water, and then I tied them into knots. If you want to do a more simpler version, you can just cut them into 2-inch pieces and use those. I like to add konnyaku, which is made from the root of a vegetable called the konjac, and it has a jelly-like consistency. This is totally optional, but if you haven't tried konnyaku, I recommend giving it a try. Now we'll add the aburaage, which is a fried tofu pouch. I took 1 piece and sliced it into strips. Give it a quick stir to bring everything together, and then we're gonna cook it, let that flavor develop. Want that chicken to get nice and done. We'll let this cook for another 15 minutes, and then you can always adjust the seasoning with a little extra shoyu or dashi as you see fit. Nishime is ready to go. It smells awesome. But we'll go ahead and we'll plate it. So really it smells great. And the vegetables, you see they're all nicely done. I can't wait to eat this with rice. Wow, look at that. Now, I have green onions in here, but a little extra garnish never hurt anyone. So we'll put some on here. All right, here we have it. Easy chicken nishime. It smells amazing. You can smell the shoyu, the dashi, and that complexity that the sake adds too, right? And so we've got our kombu, we've got all our vegetables in here, and of course, some delicious fresh steamed rice. Can't wait to dig in. Enjoy.